The classroom buzzed with whispers when the new black student walked in. He carried nothing more than a backpack and a quiet smile, but already some students had decided he didn't belong. His assigned desk, the one marked clearly with his name, wasn't empty. A boy, bigger and louder than most, leaned back in the chair as though daring anyone to challenge him. The air grew heavy as the teacher looked on, silent. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. Would the new student fight back? Or would he walk away, humiliated? Sometimes, the cruelest battles aren't fought on streets but in classrooms. Watch until the end. Wait a second, tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. His parents had always told Marcus that education was his key to a brighter future. Moving to a new town wasn't easy, but he believed that school could be a place where he would grow, make friends, and prove himself. His parents had spent the night before encouraging him, ironing his uniform, and reminding him to hold his head high. The classroom he entered smelled of old books and chalk, the walls lined with posters about respect and equality. But the reality felt far from those words. He noticed the stares right away, curious, judgmental, even mocking. Some smiled politely, but most didn't bother hiding their discomfort. His heart raced, but he kept his composure. This was supposed to be just another day, another step toward his dreams. Yet something about the way the bully sat in his seat, smirking as if he owned it, sent a sharp warning. This day would not be ordinary. The boy in Marcus's chair was Jason, known throughout the school as a troublemaker. He thrived on attention, often mocking those who were different from him. His friends circled, snickering, which helped boost his confidence. Marcus froze for a moment, unsure if he should speak up. The teacher shuffled papers at her desk, avoiding the situation, pretending not to notice. It was as though the entire class was silently testing Marcus. Would he challenge Jason, or would he accept the humiliation quietly? Jason leaned back further, tapping his shoes against the desk leg, and muttered just loud enough for the others to hear. Laughter rippled through the room. Marcus clenched his fists under the desk next to him, forcing himself to stay calm. Every part of him wanted to shout, but he remembered his father's words. Strength isn't always about fighting, it's about standing with dignity. So Marcus didn't lash out. Instead, he opened his bag, pulled out his notebook, and sat on the floor right beside the desk, his assigned seat. The room went silent for a moment, the laughter suddenly awkward. What Jason expected was resistance, anger, maybe even a fight. What he got was something far more powerful, quiet resilience. Yet humiliation burned Marcus's chest, and though he stayed calm, inside he was breaking. The teacher's silence stung the most, a reminder of how authority often looks away when racism is in plain sight. But what no one knew was that someone else in the room, a student often overlooked, was quietly recording everything. The video spread across the school within hours. By lunchtime, phones buzzed with the clip, Marcus sitting on the floor while Jason smirked from the desk. But what the video captured most clearly wasn't Jason's arrogance. It was Marcus's quiet strength. The clip reached parents, teachers, and eventually the principal's office. What had been ignored in silence could no longer be denied. Jason was summoned, and for the first time, his smirk faded. The principal didn't see a joke. He saw a clear act of discrimination, a student using power and prejudice to humiliate another. By the next morning, Jason's friends were no longer laughing. Teachers who had once stayed silent watched Marcus with newfound respect. And Jason, stripped of his usual support, sat in detention, his pride shattered. The regret on his face was clear. The seat he thought was his throne had cost him everything. Marcus eventually got his desk back, but more importantly, he got something more substantial. The recognition that his dignity and courage had spoken louder than cruelty. Students who once stayed quiet began sitting with him at lunch, some apologizing for their silence. The teacher, shamed by her inaction, was forced to confront her failure and attend mandatory training on inclusivity. As for Jason, he learned that actions born of prejudice don't just fade, they leave marks. And sometimes those marks return as consequences. His regret wasn't just about punishment. It was about the realization that his power had crumbled in the face of truth. Marcus's story became more than just an incident in a classroom. It was a reminder that silence in the face of racism is complicity, but dignity can break chains stronger than fists. How many more Marusis must endure humiliation before schools truly change? Which country and city are you watching from? Take care.